My sister convinced our dad I was unstable, took over my house, put me under guardianship, and controlled my inheritance. All for my own good. What followed were police calls from me. I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but I'm at a complete loss and need perspective from people who aren't emotionally involved in this mess. I'm 28 and I work as a software engineer at a mid-sized tech company. I've always been responsible with money. I have a solid credit score, no debt except my car loan, and I've been managing rental properties since I was 24. This is important context for what's about to unfold. My mother passed away 6 years ago from cancer. It devastated our family, but we pulled together. My sister Jennifer, 30F, moved back home to help Dad through the grief, while I handled all the financial aspects, funeral arrangements, insurance claims, and managing Mom's estate. Dad was grateful for the help and even commented multiple times how impressed he was with my organizational skills. Fast forward to last year. My grandmother on my mother's side passed away and left me 2 rental properties in her will. She specifically stated they were for me because I'd shown interest in real estate and had helped her manage them during her final years. Jennifer received an equivalent cash inheritance, so there was no inequality. The properties are in decent shape, a duplex that brings in $2,400 per month, and a single-family home that rents for $1,800 per month. After expenses, I net about $3,000 monthly, which I've been reinvesting into improvements and saving for future investments. Here's where things get weird. About 3 months ago, Jennifer started making comments about my spending habits. I bought a used truck to help with property maintenance, and she told Dad I was splurging on toys. When I took a week off to renovate one of the units myself, she said I was playing landlord instead of working a real job. I brushed it off as sibling jealousy until last week. Dad called me over for dinner, which wasn't unusual. But when I arrived, Jennifer was there with a stack of documents and a lawyer friend of hers, Christopher. They sat me down like this was some kind of intervention. Christopher started explaining that Dad was concerned about my financial decision-making and thought it would be best if Jennifer became a co-manager of my inherited properties. I literally laughed, thinking this was some elaborate joke. It wasn't. Dad looked me in the eyes and said he'd been watching my reckless spending and thought I needed guidance. When I asked for examples, Jennifer pulled out a folder. She had photos of my truck receipts from Home Depot for renovation supplies, and even screenshots of a vacation I took to Colorado last month, which I paid for entirely with my regular salary, not rental income. "Michael," she said in this condescending tone, "you're hemorrhaging money. These properties could be worth so much more if they were managed properly. Dad and I just want to help you." I lost it. I asked Dad if he remembered who handled Mom's entire estate, who'd been managing rentals successfully for 4 years, who had zero debt and perfect payment history. He just kept saying Jennifer had opened his eyes to my problem. Christopher then presented the real kicker paperwork for Jennifer to become a financial co-guardian of my assets. Not just the inherited properties, but any future inheritances as well. The document would give her equal say in all decisions and require both signatures for any transactions over $500. I stood up and walked out. I haven't answered any of their calls since. The thing is, I've been going over my finances obsessively since then. My properties are cash flow positive. I have 6 months of expenses in my emergency fund. My renovation budget is carefully planned with 20% contingency. I even hired a property management company last year to ensure professional handling. But now I'm second-guessing everything. Am I missing something? Is it normal for a parent to try to impose financial guardianship on an adult child who's demonstrably responsible? I'm meeting with my own lawyer tomorrow, but I needed to get this off my chest. Has anyone dealt with family trying to control their finances like this? How do you even respond to something so insulting? Update. The situation has escalated dramatically. It's been 2 weeks since my original post and I can barely believe what's happened. Thank you to everyone who commented and shared their experiences. Your advice about getting a lawyer immediately was spot on, though I wish I'd moved even faster. First, let me address what many of you suspected. Yes, this is absolutely about Jennifer wanting control of the rental income. My lawyer, Patricia, uncovered some disturbing information during our initial consultation. Jennifer has been unemployed for the past 8 months. She told Dad she was taking a sabbatical to focus on family, but Patricia's investigator found out she was actually fired from her marketing job for expense account fraud. She's been living off her inheritance from Grandma, but apparently that money is running low. The same day I met with Patricia, Jennifer made her move. She showed up at both my rental properties with Dad and Christopher, introducing herself to my tenants as the new property manager. She told them all future rent checks should be made out to her for administrative purposes and that she'd be handling all maintenance requests going forward. My property management company called me immediately confused about what was happening. When they told Jennifer she had no authority, she produced a document supposedly signed by me giving her temporary management rights. It was a complete forgery, but professional enough that my tenants were confused. I drove to the duplex immediately and found Jennifer inside one of the vacant units with a contractor discussing necessary renovations. She'd somehow gotten a key from my father, who still had a spare from when I first bought the properties. "Michael," she said, acting surprised. "I didn't expect you here. I'm just getting quotes for the updates we discussed. We haven't discussed anything," I said, trying to stay calm. "You need to leave now." She pulled out her phone and started recording. I'm trying to help you and this is how you react. Dad was right. You're not thinking clearly. These properties are falling apart because you're too proud to accept help. The contractor looked uncomfortable and excused himself. I asked Jennifer again to leave and she refused, claiming Dad had given her permission to inspect family assets. I called the police. 2 officers arrived and listened to both sides. Jennifer played the concerned sister beautifully, even producing tears on command. She showed them the forged management document and claimed I was having some kind of breakdown. But when the officers asked for additional proof of her authority, like a power of attorney or court order, she had nothing. They made her leave, but warned me this was a civil matter that would need to be resolved in court. That evening, I got a call from my bank. Someone had tried to access my business account using security questions. The attempt failed, but it was clearly Jennifer probing for access. Patricia immediately filed for a restraining order and sent cease and desist letters to both Jennifer and Christopher. We also informed the police about the forged document and attempted bank access. The next day, Dad called me from Jennifer's phone. I've been ignoring his number. He sounded confused and kept asking why I was making this difficult, and insisting Jennifer was just trying to help manage things while you get better. Get better from what I asked. Your situation, he said vaguely. Jennifer says you've been under a lot of stress and making impulsive decisions. That's when I realized the full scope of what Jennifer was doing. She'd been poisoning Dad's mind for months, maybe longer, building a narrative that I was unstable and needed help. Every normal purchase or decision I made was reframed as evidence of my deteriorating judgment. Patricia had warned me about this. It's called undue influence, and it's a common tactic in financial elder abuse cases. Except here, Jennifer was using our father to financially abuse me. I met with Dad alone the next day, bringing Patricia with me. We showed him my financial records, bank statements, tax returns, property management reports. Everything painted a picture of responsible, profitable management. Dad, I said, look at these numbers. Look at the facts, not what Jennifer tells you. Why would I need a financial guardian when I'm running everything successfully? He seemed to waver, but then said Jennifer showed me the bills. You're spending thousands on unnecessary repairs. Patricia pulled out the actual invoices. Every expense was legitimate. A new water heater updating electrical to code regular maintenance, all standard landlord expenses that Jennifer had twisted into reckless spending. We thought we were making progress until Dad's phone rang. It was Jennifer. He put her on speaker without telling her. Dad, are you with Michael? I told you not to meet with him alone. He's probably trying to manipulate you. Remember what we discussed. He needs our help whether he admits it or not. Patricia motioned for Dad to keep talking. I'm looking at his financial records, Dad said carefully. Everything seems in order. Jennifer's tone changed instantly. Dad, we talked about this. You know you sometimes get confused about numbers. That's why you have me to help. Don't let Michael take advantage of your condition. My heart dropped. Dad didn't have any condition. He was sharp as ever at 68, still working part-time as a consultant. But Jennifer's words were carefully chosen. She was laying groundwork to claim he was incompetent too. After the call, Dad was silent for a long time. Finally, he said, she's been telling me I've been forgetting things, missing conversations we never had. Maybe she's right. Maybe I am getting confused. Patricia and I exchanged looks. This was textbook gaslighting. We convinced Dad to see his doctor for a cognitive evaluation, which came back perfect, and to meet with his own lawyer about protecting his assets from potential abuse. He's starting to see through Jennifer's manipulation, but 30 years of trusting his daughter doesn't disappear overnight. As for my situation, Patricia filed an emergency injunction preventing Jennifer from any contact with my tenants or properties. We're also pursuing charges for forgery and attempted fraud. The restraining order was granted, requiring Jennifer to stay 500 feet away from me and my properties. But I know this isn't over. Jennifer's desperate, and desperate people do dangerous things. I've installed security cameras at both properties and changed all locks. My property management company has strict instructions not to discuss anything with anyone claiming to be family. The hardest part, I've lost my sister. Not the sister who's doing this. I lost her months or years ago. I'm mourning the sister I thought I had, the one who helped me through Mom's death, who I trusted with everything. Tomorrow, we have a family meeting with a mediator. Jennifer doesn't know I have recordings of her trying to manipulate Dad. Patricia says it's our best shot at ending this before it escalates further. I'll update again after the meeting. Thank you all for your support. Knowing I'm not crazy, that this is as messed up as it seems, has kept me sane through this nightmare. Update 2. The mediator meeting was a disaster, but we got everything on record. The mediation was scheduled for 2 p.m. yesterday at a neutral location, a conference room at Patricia's law firm. Jennifer showed up with Christopher and another lawyer, a woman named Margaret, who specialized in family protection law. That should have been our first red flag. Dad came with his own lawyer, James, which Jennifer clearly wasn't expecting. Her face went pale when she saw him. The mediator, Robert, laid out ground rules. Everyone would have a chance to speak uninterrupted. We were here to find a resolution, and all discussions would be confidential unless both parties agreed otherwise. Jennifer went first. She'd prepared a whole presentation, actually had a PowerPoint titled Protecting Michael's Future. It was surreal watching her click through slides of my concerning behavior. Slide 1, a photo of my truck with a caption impulsive vehicle purchase. Slide 2, Home Depot receipts totaling $8,000 over 6 months, excessive spending on hobbies. Slide 3, a graph showing my rental income versus what she projected it should be. Slide 4, screenshots of my social media from my Colorado trip. Prioritizing leisure over responsibility. My brother, she said, voice dripping with fake concern, is a wonderful person who's lost his way. Since our mother's death, he's been trying to fill the void with material purchases and risky investments. As his older sister, I can't stand by and watch him destroy Grandma's legacy. She actually wiped away a tear at that point. Then came the kicker. Slide 5, proposed solution, temporary financial guardianship. She wanted joint control of all rental properties' approval rights for any expense over $500, monthly financial reports submitted to her, her signature required for any property sales or refinancing, a modest administrative fee of $1,000 per month for her services. This isn't about control, she insisted. It's about family helping family. Michael will thank me in 5 years when these properties are worth double. When it was my turn, Patricia handed out folders to everyone. Inside were 5 years of tax returns showing profitable property management, 2 bank statements showing consistent growth in savings, 3 property appreciation reports showing 15% increase in value under my management, 4, a letter from my property management company praising my decision-making, 5 character references from 3 tenants. But the real bombshell was the last document, a private investigator's report on Jennifer. Not only had she been fired for expense fraud, she'd also maxed out 3 credit cards in the last 6 months, been sued by her former landlord for $4,000 in unpaid rent, and attempted to take out a loan using Dad's information denied due to insufficient credit. Jennifer, I said, looking directly at her, has approximately $2,000 in the bank and $45,000 in debt. She's facing eviction, and she's been systematically lying to our father about my mental state to gain control of assets worth over $800,000. Jennifer exploded. How dare you investigate me? This is exactly the paranoid behavior I'm talking about. You're sick, Michael. Christopher tried to calm her down, but she was beyond reasoning. Dad, tell them. Tell them about the conversations we've had. Tell them about Michael's episodes. Dad looked confused. What episodes? The ones you told me about last month when he came over ranting about the government? That never happened, Dad said slowly. I never said that. Jennifer's mask completely slipped. Yes, you did. You're just confused again. This is why we need to protect the family assets. Neither of you can be trusted. The mediator tried to restore order, but Jennifer kept going. I've been carrying this family for months, living at home, taking care of Dad, watching Michael squander everything. I deserve compensation. Is that what this is about? I asked. Money? I'm broke, she screamed. Is that what you want to hear? I'm broke because I gave up everything to take care of this family. You got the properties? I got nothing. You got $300,000 in cash, Dad said quietly. The same value as Michael's properties at the time, which is gone because I've been unemployed taking care of you. James' dad's lawyer pulled out bank records. According to these, you spent $180,000 on a failed business venture in cryptocurrency, another $50,000 on luxury goods. The remaining money went to trips and lifestyle expenses. None of it went to your father's care. The room went silent. Margaret, Jennifer's lawyer, tried to salvage things. Regardless of past financial decisions, my client has genuine concerns about her brother's stability. Patricia cut her off. Your client forged legal documents, attempted bank fraud, and has been gaslighting an elderly parent. We have recordings. That's when I played the recording from the phone call where Jennifer told Dad not to trust his own judgment about my finances, then another where she claimed Dad was getting confused and needed her help. Margaret closed her folder. I need to speak with my client privately. They left for about 10 minutes. When they returned, Jennifer looked defeated but still defiant. Margaret spoke carefully. My client is willing to abandon all claims to financial guardianship in exchange for a one-time family support payment of $50,000. Absolutely not, I said. Michael, Jennifer said, her voice different now, desperate, pleading. I'm about to be homeless. I'm your sister. Doesn't that mean anything? For a moment, I saw flashes of the sister I grew up with. The one who taught me to ride a bike, who snuck me candy when Mom said no, who held me when we buried our mother. It means everything, I said, which is why this hurts so much. Dad spoke up then. Jennifer, you need help. Real help. Not money. Therapy. This isn't you. This is survival, she shot back. You all have your comfortable lives, and I'm drowning. Robert, the mediator, suggested a compromise. Jennifer would abandon all claims to my properties, sign a legally binding agreement to cease all interference with my finances, and in return I wouldn't pursue criminal charges for the forgery and fraud attempts. Patricia advised against it. She wanted Jennifer prosecuted. But I looked at Dad, who seemed to age 10 years during this meeting, and agreed. Jennifer signed the papers with shaking hands. As she prepared to leave, she turned to me one last time. You know what the funny thing is, she said. I was a better property manager than you will ever be. I just never got the chance. After they left, Dad broke down. How did I not see this? How did I let her convince me my own son was unstable? She's been planning this for months, James said gently. This kind of manipulation is sophisticated. You're not the first parent to be fooled by a desperate child. We spent another hour discussing protecting Dad's assets and setting up safeguards against future manipulation. He's changing his will to include strict conditions and appointing a professional executive. As we were leaving, Patricia pulled me aside. She'll be back. Maybe not tomorrow or next month, but when she's desperate again, she'll try something else. I know she's right. But for now, I have my properties, my sanity, and most importantly, my relationship with my father intact. The security cameras have already caught Jennifer driving by the duplex twice despite the restraining order. I'm documenting everything. This isn't over, but at least the truth is out in the open now. Update 3. She actually did it. Jennifer filed for conservatorship. It's been 3 months since the mediation disaster, and I genuinely thought things were getting better. Jennifer had gone quiet. Dad and I were rebuilding our relationship, and my properties were thriving. I should have known she was planning something. 2 weeks ago, I was served papers at work. In front of my entire team, a process server handed me documents that made my blood run cold. Petition for conservatorship of Michael. Last name adult. Unable to manage personal and financial affairs. Jennifer hadn't just regrouped, she'd gone nuclear. According to the filing, I was suffering from paranoid delusions, evidenced by hiring a private investigator on family financial incompetence, evidenced by refusing family assistance, social isolation, evidenced by obtaining a restraining order against family and possible substance abuse, evidenced by erratic behavior and aggression. She'd found a new lawyer, David, who specialized in conservatorship cases. Worse, she'd somehow gotten 2 doctors to sign affidavits expressing concern about my mental state, doctors I'd never met. Patricia was furious when I called her. She's judge shopping. She filed in a different county where she hopes to get a more sympathetic ear. The most disturbing part, Jennifer had moved into my house. Not one of my rentals, my actual residence. Let me explain. I've been traveling for a software conference for 5 days. When I returned, my neighbor Mark flagged me down. Hey, your sister said you asked her to house sit. She's been here since Wednesday. Also, there was some kind of inspector here yesterday. My blood went cold. I'd never asked Jennifer to house sit. She wasn't even supposed to know I was gone. I rushed to my front door to find the locks had been changed. Through the window, I could see Jennifer inside calmly drinking coffee at my kitchen table. She'd seen me and waved cheerfully. I called the police immediately. 2 officers arrived and Jennifer met them at the door with a stack of papers. Officers, I'm so glad you're here. My brother is having another episode. I'm his court-appointed temporary guardian. Here's the documentation. She produced an emergency conservatorship order signed by a judge in the neighboring county. It was dated 3 days ago and gave her temporary control over my person and estate, pending a full hearing. This is fraudulent, I shouted. I was never served. I never appeared in court. Jennifer's face was a mask of fake concern. Michael, you were served at your last known address. It's not my fault you've been unstable and traveling erratically. The court was very concerned when you didn't appear for your own welfare hearing. The officers looked at the paperwork, then at me. Sir, this appears to be a valid court order. You'll need to sort this out with the judge. You're telling me she can just steal my house? I'm not stealing anything, Jennifer said smoothly. I'm protecting my brother's assets while he gets the help he needs. Officers, I'm actually worried about his agitation. He hasn't been taking his medication. I don't take medication. I don't need medication. The officers exchanged glances. I was playing right into her narrative. Patricia arrived within an hour and immediately started making calls. Turns out Jennifer had filed using an old address where I'd lived 3 years ago, knowing the court documents would be delivered, but never received. When I didn't appear for the emergency hearing, the judge granted temporary conservatorship based solely on Jennifer's testimony and the questionable doctor affidavits. This is blatantly illegal, Patricia said, but it'll take time to undo. In the meantime, Jennifer had already contacted my employer claiming she needed to discuss my medical leave. She called my property management company asserting guardian rights. She accessed my mail and collected rent checks made out to me and filed change of address forms redirecting my mail to her. The next week was a blur of legal filings. Patricia got an emergency hearing scheduled, but Jennifer's lawyer kept filing delays. Meanwhile, I was effectively homeless, staying in a hotel while Jennifer lived in my house. Then things got worse. Jennifer started a social media campaign. She created a Facebook page called Praying for Michael's Recovery, where she posted daily updates about my struggle with mental illness. She shared old photos of us together with captions like, remembering better days before the paranoia took hold, and if you're reading this, Michael, your family loves you and wants you to get help. Friends started reaching out concerned. My professional reputation was being destroyed in real time. Finally, we got our hearing. Judge Sarah Chen presided, and from the moment she started speaking, I knew she wasn't buying Jennifer's act. Ms. Jennifer's last name, she began. I've reviewed this case extensively. Can you explain why you filed in this county when both you and your brother reside in another? I was staying with friends here when I became aware of the emergency nature of Michael's condition, Jennifer replied smoothly. And these doctors who signed affidavits, when did they examine Mr. My last name, David, her lawyer jumped in. They've observed him in social settings and reviewed concerning behaviors reported by family. So they've never actually examined him professionally. Well, Michael refuses treatment. That's not what I asked. Judge Chen then turned to the service issue. You listed an address where Mr. My last name hasn't lived in 3 years. How do you explain that I believed he was staying there? He's been unstable, moving frequently. Yet you somehow knew exactly where he lived when you decided to move into his current residence. Jennifer had no answer. The judge ordered an immediate psychiatric evaluation by a court-appointed psychiatrist. Dr. Brian Williams spent 3 hours with me reviewing everything from my medical history to my financial records. His report was damning for Jennifer. Mr. My last name shows no signs of mental illness, cognitive impairment, or inability to manage his affairs. On the contrary, he presents as a highly functioning individual with above-average financial acumen. The petition for conservatorship appears to be motivated by financial gain rather than genuine concern for his welfare. Judge Chen's ruling was swift and brutal. 1. The emergency conservatorship was immediately dissolved. 2. Jennifer was ordered to vacate my residence within 24 hours. 3. She was to return all property rent checks and documents immediately. 4. She was barred from filing any further conservatorship petitions. 5. The matter was referred to the district attorney's office for potential criminal charges. Ms. Jennifer's last name, the judge said coldly, you've perverted a system designed to protect vulnerable adults. You've weaponized the court against your own brother for financial gain. I'm also ordering you to pay all of Mr. My last name's legal fees and hotel expenses. Jennifer broke down crying, but it wasn't the manipulative tears from before. These were tears of genuine despair. I'm going to be homeless, she whispered. Then perhaps you should have thought of that before attempting to steal your brother's home, Judge Chen replied. As we left the courthouse, Jennifer approached me one last time with David trying to pull her back. Michael, please. I know I went too far, but I'm desperate. Just alone. Anything I looked at her. Really looked at her. She'd lost weight, her clothes were wrinkled, and the designer handbag she used to carry had been replaced with a worn tote. Get help, Jennifer. Real help. Then maybe we can talk. I can't afford help. I can't afford anything. Dad stepped forward then. He'd been silent through the entire hearing, but now he spoke. I'll pay for therapy. Real therapy. But you have to go and you have to stay away from Michael and me until you complete the program. Jennifer nodded frantically. Yes. Yes. Anything. Thank you, Daddy. And Jennifer Dad's voice was steel. If you ever try anything like this again with anyone, I'll personally make sure you're prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That was 2 weeks ago. Jennifer vacated my house after causing $3,000 in damage, which Patricia is pursuing in small claims court. She's supposedly in therapy now, though I blocked her on everything and asked Dad not to give me updates. The criminal investigation is ongoing. Patricia thinks Jennifer will likely plead to a lesser charge and get probation, especially if she completes therapy. My employer was understanding once I explained the situation and showed them the court ruling. The property management company never wavered in their support, but the emotional toll has been significant. I've started therapy myself to process the betrayal. Dr. Nancy Chen. No relation to the judge, has been helping me understand that Jennifer's actions, while inexcusable, came from a place of genuine desperation mixed with narcissistic entitlement. She viewed your success not as something to be proud of, but as something taken from her, Dr. Chen explained. In her mind, your grandmother should have left everything to her as the oldest. When that didn't happen, she felt justified in taking what she believed was rightfully hers. The hardest part is grieving the relationship. Jennifer wasn't always like this, or maybe she was, and I just never saw it. Either way, the sister I thought I had is gone, replaced by someone I need protection from. Dad and I have grown closer through this ordeal. He's apologized countless times for doubting me, but I don't blame him. Jennifer's manipulation was sophisticated and targeted. She knew exactly which buttons to push. I failed you both, he told me last week over dinner. I failed to see Jennifer's problems, and I failed to protect you from them. You didn't fail Dad. You trusted your daughter. That's what parents are supposed to do. My properties are doing better than ever. I've actually expanded, purchasing a small apartment building with the money I'd saved during all this chaos. It's my way of proving to myself more than anyone that I am good at this, that Jennifer's lies haven't made me doubt my abilities. I've also started a support group for others who faced financial abuse from family members. You'd be amazed how common this is. Every week, I meet people whose siblings, children, or parents have tried to steal their assets through manipulation, forgery, or false conservatorship. The group has been therapeutic, but also eye-opening. Jennifer's playbook. The gaslighting, the fake concern, the legal manipulation. It's practically a template. Many abusers use identical tactics. Last week, a woman named Sandra shared how her brother convinced their mother she had dementia to steal her house. Another member, Kevin, lost his business to a cousin who claimed he was mentally incompetent after a car accident. These stories remind me that I'm lucky. I had resources to fight back. I had Patricia Dad's eventual support and a judge who saw through the lies. Not everyone is that fortunate. As I write this final update, I'm sitting in my home office, the one Jennifer tried to claim as hers. The locks have been changed again. Security cameras cover every angle, and all my important documents are in a safety deposit box. I still jump when someone knocks unexpectedly. I still check my credit report obsessively. I still wonder if Jennifer's out there planning her next move. But I'm not living in fear. I'm living in awareness. There's a difference. To anyone reading this who's facing something similar, document everything. Get a lawyer immediately. Don't let family ties blind you to abuse. And most importantly, don't blame yourself for not seeing it coming. Predators often wear familiar faces. As for Jennifer, I heard through the grapevine that she's working at a call center and living with friends. Part of me hopes she's genuinely getting help. A smaller, hotter part of me doesn't care anymore. Family is supposed to be your safe harbor. When it becomes the storm trying to sink you, sometimes the only choice is to sail away. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm thriving. And that, more than any legal victory, is the best revenge against someone who tried to convince the world I was incompetent. Thank you all for following this journey. Your support, advice, and shared experiences kept me sane when someone I loved was trying to drive me crazy. Stay vigilant, stay strong, and always trust your gut when it tells you something's wrong. Sometimes the call is coming from inside the house. Final thoughts. It's been 6 months now since the conservatorship ruling. I debated whether to add this epilogue, but I think it's important for closure. Last month I received a letter. No return address, but I recognized Jennifer's handwriting. Michael, I know I'm not supposed to contact you. I'm not asking for forgiveness or money or anything else. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand what I did to you. Therapy has been harder than anything I've ever done. But I'm starting to see the person I became, the person who tried to destroy her own brother for money. I told myself so many lies, that you didn't deserve the inheritance, that I was protecting Dad, that I was owed something for being the oldest. But the truth is simpler and uglier. I was broke, desperate, and willing to hurt anyone to save myself. I'm working now. It's not much, but it's honest. I'm paying Dad back for the therapy $50 at a time. It'll take years, but I need to do it. I dream about Mom sometimes. In the dream, she knows what I did to you. She doesn't say anything, just looks at me with this disappointed expression. I wake up crying every time. I don't expect you to ever speak to me again. I wouldn't if I were you. But I wanted you to know that I know what I am, what I did, and that I'm trying to become someone else. Take care of yourself, Michael. You are always the better one of us. Jennifer. I've read the letter dozens of times. Some days I believe it's genuine. Other days I think it's just another manipulation. Maybe it doesn't matter. I didn't respond. I won't. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. They just become reminders of where not to walk again. But I kept the letter not out of sentiment but as evidence. Patricia says I'm paranoid. Dr. Chen says I'm protecting myself. They're both right. Dad's doing well. He's dating someone new, a retired teacher named Helen who makes him laugh. He's cautious about introducing her to family drama, but she seems to understand. She told me once everyone has that one relative. The key is not letting them define the whole family. My properties continue to thrive. That apartment building I bought is now valued at 20% more than I paid. My tenants are happy, my books are balanced, and my future is secure. Sometimes I drive by the duplex that started all this, Grandma's first gift to me. I think about how Jennifer saw it as an injustice to be corrected rather than a torch to be carried forward. We make choices every day about who we want to be. Jennifer chose envy over love, manipulation over honesty, theft over work. I chose to protect what was mine, to value truth over family harmony, to build rather than tear down. Neither of us emerged unscathed, but only one of us emerged with integrity intact. To everyone who's been through something similar, it gets better. The paranoia fades, the jumpiness at unexpected knocks softens, the obsessive checking of accounts becomes less frequent, but the wisdom stays. The knowledge that sometimes danger comes wrapped in shared DNA and childhood memories. That's not cynicism, it's growth. I still believe in family. I just define it differently now. Family isn't just blood. It's the people who support your success instead of resenting it, who offer help without hidden motives, who love you without conditions or contracts. By that definition, I have more family now than ever. Patricia, who fought for me like a sister should. My property management team, who stood by me when lies were flying. Dr. Chen, who helped me process betrayal without becoming bitter. My support group, who understood without judgment. And Dad, who eventually chose truth over comfortable lies. That's my family now, chosen, trusted, and real. Jennifer was right about one thing in her letter. I am the better one. Not because I was born that way, but because when tested, I chose to be. And that's a choice we all get to make every single day. Choose wisely. Your future self will thank you.